Animals are used for entertainment in a variety of ways. They're used in the film, television and advertising industries. They're used in tourism, they're used in circuses, in marine mammal entertainment shows, and also, unfortunately, in illegal fighting activities. Animals used in film, television and advertising can be vulnerable to hazards from things like stunts, pyrotechnics and other hazards on the set. They can be stressed by having to repeat scene takes again and again, and also have to sometimes be housed and travel in suboptimal environments. There's also a concern that when animals are portrayed in advertising or for entertainment purposes in very unnatural ways, that can damage public understanding of the true nature of animals and of their needs. Animals used for tourism purposes can be used in a variety of ways. Some tourist operators will offer tours to see animals in their natural environments. Others will confine animals in zoos or other captive settings. Some operators will offer animal rides, such as camel rides. The use of animals for tourism purposes is not completely devoid of all benefits. There is an argument that this can increase understanding of animals in their natural environments, which can be beneficial to animal welfare and conservation. Unfortunately, however, animals kept in tourist exhibits and used for tourism purposes are often vulnerable to poor welfare. But tourist operators are also being asked to increasingly try to ensure that the welfare of the animals is safeguarded, and more than just some kind of superficial welfare washing, but genuinely safeguarding the welfare of these animals. And finally, tourist operators are being asked to increasingly educate tourists about the needs of animals and about the importance of preserving their natural environments. Worldwide, many thousands of exotic animals are used in circuses. Although many of these animals are particularly large animals with large spatial requirements, such as big cats and elephants, studies have indicated that the average amount of space provided in their enclosures, both when the circus is stationary and also the travelling enclosures, tend to be around about 1/4 of the amount of space that's provided to them in zoos. Environmental enrichment props such as logs unfortunately are often not provided to circus animals because of fears that they'll be used to break and damage the less robust housing that exists within circuses. Elephants unfortunately are often shackled, further restricting their movement, and handlers sometimes claim that this is necessary not only for safety reasons but also to establish and maintain their dominance over these elephants. These animals typically have insufficient opportunity to exercise, to engage in normal behavioural patterns, to engage in normal social contact with members of their own species. When travelling, these animals may be exposed to things such as strange noises, bumps, views and other sources of stress. It can be very difficult to obtain the specialised diets required for many of these exotic animals as they travel around the countryside. The combined stresses that these animals experience may weaken their immune system and predispose them to disease. The stressful conditions they experience also predisposes them to stereotypies, these repetitive, apparently purposeless behavioural patterns believed to indicate stress, which is both quite serious and also ongoing over time. Worldwide, there are hundreds of oceanaria and aquaria in which captive populations of marine mammals such as whales, dolphins, porpoises and seals are maintained for entertainment purposes. These animals are often captured from the wild with major disruption of their existing social networks. They're transported to aquaria and maintained in relatively small and barren enclosures with very little environmental enrichment or opportunity to express many of their highly motivated natural behavioural patterns. And they're often trained to participate in entertainment performances for tourists using methods which are quite coercive and often involving the restriction of food. These conditions are very stressful to the animals concerned, often resulting in more stereotypical behaviour patterns. Under European legislation, dolphinaria are required to undertake significant research activity designed to aid the conservation of the species. Studies have indicated that dolphinaria actually make a generally insignificant contribution to the conservation of the species. Because of low birth rates and low reproductive success rates, the populations of captive dolphins are generally not self-sustaining, and there's not yet been recorded as any successful reintroduction into the wild of dolphins from a European dolphinarium. Animal fighting involves activities such as bear baiting, when bears are tethered and attacked by dogs. It involves cockfighting, when roosters have metal spurs attached to their own natural spurs and forced to fight one another, and also dog fighting. Dog fighting is extremely cruel. The dogs used are often maintained in poor conditions and repetitively trained to increase their strength. Bait animals such as kittens, rodents and other small animals may be used live and killed by the dogs. In the fights themselves, the dogs can be very seriously injured, and these can last for up to 5 hours. Horrific injuries can be sustained by these dogs. In countries with civilized standards concerning animal welfare, animal fighting, including dog fighting, is generally illegal. However, unfortunately, it does often persist, usually in association with underground criminal activity. Harming, killing and exploiting animals purely for entertainment purposes is ethically quite reprehensible.